Hello everybody, it's your baby boomer Kitty Lane from the Peninsula in Virginia, back with another Create and Relate. I'm here to talk to you about a few things. One of them is to thank everybody, all of my subscribers. I thank you guys. I'm coming up on my first podversary, and I'm happy to see that number. Wish it could have been more, but I'm happy to see where it is. I also want to thank you guys for the watch hours and the views. Those numbers are, when I understood what they were, I realized that those numbers were higher than I anticipated. As of current, I have close to 1,000 watch hours. And I have just under 21,000 views. If we could turn those views into subscribers. Also, we have 360 subscribers. So I have goals, yes, that I'm trying to reach in next year, not by the end of my second year, but I want to hit those goals in my second year. I want to hit them early in my second year, so I'm going to be pushing really hard. The other thing I want to remind you of is the fact that I have an auction coming up on the 26th. My podversary date is actually April 27th, but I'm going to be having the auction on the 26th, as I know the YouTube highways are very busy on Sundays. And also, I know that I want to do things with my family because that's the last day of the weekend that my grandkids are here. So we're usually having long discussions and all that type of stuff and preparing them to get back into school for the next week. You know, the fun stuff. Also, the other two things that I wanted to talk to you about were the fact that many of us that I have encountered in this past year do what we can to help each other out, and I appreciate that. There are some that I've kind of shied away from, but I love community. I think community is key. I think communication is key. I think it is very important that we be kind and loving to one another. It doesn't mean that we have to sit in each other's face. It doesn't even mean that we have to like each other. Okay? But I've run into some situations that were really, really obviously questionable, and it has pushed me away from a few communities. I don't like, I'm like anybody else. I have feelings too, and I don't like being pushed away. I don't like being ignored, and I don't like, I have not been made fun of or anything, but I guess it all falls under being ignored, and that's a bad feeling, but it lets me know my place with these people. The other thing is, on a more positive note, guys, when you have yarn that splits, be careful. The yarn that I find, the fiber that I find that splits the most is cotton, and I wish I had had someone to tell me how important it was to not just let that stitch slide, because it breaks down the integrity of your project the longer it goes uncorrected. So even those mindless pieces that we have, I know if I see where I've split something, even rows back, I will sacrifice and take those rows loose, and it's because of situations like what happened to me last week when I went to Walmart. I ran into a gentleman named James. He showed me a spread that his mother made him, absolutely beautiful. Then he showed me 13 pieces on it, or 13 sections of it, where it had started coming loose. And 10 of those 13 sections involved splitting stitches, or splitting yarn at certain stitches. They were very small and easy to repair, but if you've got 100% of the strength as opposed to even 75% of the strength, it's better. And sometimes if you can't get away with it, it depends on what side of that 75% the damage was on. If you split and leave out if you have 4 strands, your yarn splits and you leave out 1 strand, you got 75% of that integrity there. But if you have 4 strands and you only pick up 1 strand and leave the other 3 out, it's not going to be long before that strand breaks, and your project is going to start unraveling from that point. So be mindful, be vigilant of that. The other thing is, I've been crocheting since 1969, y'all. I don't even call myself very good. Okay, I don't. I have my niche, which is personalized. I tell everybody I specialize in personalized crochet. I do a lot of graph cans. I taught myself to do those, and I love doing them, and those are the ones that I generally or basically sell, and they do pretty good. The issue okay, I started learning to crochet when I was 5. Miss Lena taught me. I wish Miss Lena had told me how important leaving long tails was. She taught me to crochet. She was with me for 2 years, and then we moved into another house a little further away, so it was like from that point we would only go visit Miss Lena, and then after that they moved to Carolina, so it was really going to visit Miss Lena, because we were going like every month or every other month to go down to Carolina to see her. But I always thought leaving long tails was a waste of yarn. That's the way it came off to me. In 2009, yes, 40 years later, I had something really, really, really embarrassing to happen to me. I made 5 blankets for a coworker. She paid for them in advance. So as I finished the blankets, I was passing them over to her. And the 3rd blanket, before I could finish the 5th blanket, started unraveling, because I only left about an inch tail. I was playing yarn chicken, and I only left the tail about an inch long, and it caught me. It wasn't enough. Yeah. So I went back and I remade the blanket, because it was a granny square. It was easier to remake it than it was to try to catch that piece and reconstruct it. It just was. I'm sorry, please excuse me. It was so devastating to me that happened, because it had never happened before, that I almost wanted to give up crocheting. I did, but I didn't. I think I made my first real wearable that year. I was following a pattern, and I made my mother and my aunt sweaters. I also made my aunt a vest, but I had ideas and I had aspirations to make wearables from there. Well, no, my first wearables were made in 1982. I made sundresses. I made 2 white sundresses, one for my first child and one for myself. We had matching sundresses, and we wore those out twice. So we got to wear our sundresses. So yeah, I did not follow a pattern for that one. It was strictly to size. Trying to think what else. Oh, I wonder, and if you will, just leave a comment in the comment box to let me know that I'm not alone, or I am alone, or that I'm crazy even. Doesn't matter. So I have this thing where I love a challenge, but for some reason my mind will not allow me to challenge myself. I don't get that. Every time I say I'm going to present something to myself as a bit of a challenge, I feel miserably. Yesterday I got some happy yarn in the mail, and it was the beautiful rainbow colored and a like unmuted mint color green. Well, no, it's more of an aqua. It's like a light aqua. Okay. But anyway, the colors are beautiful. And last night before I went to bed, from 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon to midnight last night, I accomplished 30 rows. It's a couple of hours before midnight now, and I've done 10 stitches today. I wanted to see how much I could get done by noon tomorrow, which if I had been able to crochet today, it would have been done, y'all. It would have been done. I'm only looking at like maybe 120 rows. So it would have been done, but it's not. It's not. And I'm kind of bummed out about it. I really am. Yeah, I'm kind of bummed out about it. So let me know if that happens to you guys. You know, you set yourself up to, you challenge yourself to do something, and for some reason it doesn't come through. Now, if it's a challenge for someone else, or there's something that's going to be done, well, one of my reasons for wanting to make it so soon is because I really wanted to auction off the blanket. I really did. I wanted to auction it off, and I was going to brag about the fact that it was made in 2 days. You know, actually less than 48 hours is what I was shooting for. But then I look at today where I just 10 stitches, y'all. 10 stitches. Granted, I have time to do maybe 10 rows, maybe, let me see, it's going on 10 o'clock. So I have time to do maybe 20 rows, but just think about that. 8 hours. And granted, I didn't put as much into it as I could have last night. From 4 to 12, I went to the store yesterday. I had to stop and take time to eat. We got up and did some more cleaning. There was a whole lot that happened in that 8 hours. Seeing the grandbabies off. You know, there was a lot that happened in that 8 hours yesterday. But I still managed to get through. Let me show you this, so you can see what I'm talking about. This. It's beautiful. It's 147 stitches across. It is the moss stitch. It's all squeezy and stretchy. Why is it 147 stitches? Well, I miscounted, that's why. I count by threes. And somewhere I went 3 ahead of myself. And where I thought I had done 150, I only did 147 stitches. But it worked out because by the time I worked, the way I came up with this, you all, I did my base row. My base row is half double crochet. It's a foundation row of half double crochet in which I used my K hook, the 6.5. All the rest of this coming up, I used my 8.0 hook, because once you start doing the moss stitch, it kind of brings it in. If I had used the K to come up, it would have started bringing it in on the sides. But going up the hook sides, going from the K to the L, managed to keep my end straight. So that suck in thing that it does kept my end straight. See? And this is an as you go thing, so literally here I was changing colors at the beginning and the end of each block on every row. So I am at the point where, do I make 3 more blocks like this, or do I continue the pattern with another block here and then go up, which would mean that I'd actually have to use more blue. I only got 3 balls of the aqua, but I got 6 balls of the, I call it Skittles. But I got 6 balls of the Skittles. And even in this is approximately 2 balls of the Skittles gone. So it's decisions. How do we go about this? But we'll figure something out. Oh, the measurement right across here right now is 45 inches from end to end. And this right here is like 7.5 inches across here. So I don't know, it may turn into something else. It just may turn into something else. I'm not sure. I'm, looking at the yarn that I have and trying to figure all of this out. So I just had another idea, so I might see if that works. And that can be done by tomorrow, I think. What I just thought of can be done by tonight, actually. So we'll see. We will see. We'll see what we come up with. But that was all that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Please don't forget the Podversary auction coming up on the 26th. That'll be from 2 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. At least, no later than 5. I will also be live tomorrow at 12. And my actual Podversary is on the 27th. I'm live every Tuesday and Thursday from 12 to 1. Don't forget about leaving long tails. I would say 4 to 5 inches. 4 to 5 inches. It's up to you whether you weave them in as you go or not. You can work them in, you can weave them in. Just leave them long enough, please. And keep an eye on splitting yarn. Sometimes it's as simple as changing your hook. Sometimes it's that simple. Sometimes it's not that simple. And when it's not that simple, you want to keep an eye on it. Okay? I love you guys. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Don't forget to be bold, be brave, be of love, and behave. Remember, Kitty Lane told you. So until we see each other again on these YouTube streets, peace out, everybody.